on the floor. You have to find it. You know, you might have to tackle one of us and like drag us upstairs to the separate Sony media room.
That's great news. That's fantastic. And as for the PlayStation 3 version, which you brought in to show us, this looks like a new map to the one I saw in the beta.
Yes, this is Sugar Cove. It's one of our island maps where you start up in a pirate ship. You've got different drawbridges that you need to build to kind of give you better paths across to the other team. And it's also got tides that go in and out that kind of change up the map dynamics as you're playing through the game. So it kind of changes up gameplay, and all our maps kind of have a little something different to offer the player. So it's not just the same game with a different tile set. We kind of really wanted to change up the gameplay style.
And so the drawbridge is a new feature that I hadn't seen before. Is there anything else on the map that players can look out for?
Well, the drawbridges are one way depending on which team built them. So if on your side, it kind of helps your team out a little bit better. Your princess is now in, she's in the brig there on the ship. The tide plays a big part of this because the tides on the outside of the ship area and the islands really kind of open up new pathways which give you a shortcut to get to the other pirate ship, but you can also drown and everything else, which is pretty challenging sometimes to get everybody in the right place at the right time so you can run a lot faster when everyone assists with the princess.
One of the things I like to point out is actually, you bring up the strategic map. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's really great. You've got the 5 base classes, and then I always like to say you've got kind of the hidden class when you bring up the strategic map, and you're kind of the sentinel, really, like identifying everybody who's out there, and so you could call out certain strategies.
So this map is adding to the other one. How many are we going to see in the final game?
8 total maps in the game. And then we also have a bonus map.
Yeah, we do have a bonus map.
And so I'm sorry. So the game is coming out in summer. And so can you tell us a little bit more about some of the other things that we might not have seen either from the beta or from this game? What are the other maps? What are the features?
Well, we have lava maps, which have different walkways which open up depending on which outpost you can control. We have much larger maps than you've seen before. We have one called Deep Fried, which is a huge lava map. It's all surrounded by different pathways that open up and close up throughout the map. And then we have Canyon and kind of like Rocky Road map. It's cliffs, and those are really fun for like a deathmatch style because we've got a lot more narrow pathways and a lot more different mazes and areas to fight over resource. So we have canyon and cliff maps, and the lava maps, water, and the forest. There's a whole bunch of different stuff. We also have a lot more customizations for the characters that people probably haven't seen in the beta yet, which are really cool. You can really kind of customize your character a lot more than people have seen yet.
Sure, there was a limited amount of that in the beta, wasn't there? But you're really going to throw that open and have a massive amount of customization.
They're a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to see yourself or something.
There's the whole storybook, single player story, Legend of the Fat Princess. Why does the blue team have the red princess? Why does the red team have the blue princess?
We have gladiator mode as well. So we have a full gladiator arena where you can open up the different classes and check out your skills against, just waves of enemies. Whatever class you like to play, or you can try through all of them.
And so you said you had a lot of feedback from players and probably journalists on the beta. What was the overwhelming feedback you received?
Well, a lot of heated feedback, which was really cool, and a lot of excitement. A lot of it was people would kind of like quickly tell us which classes, like right off the bat, like, you know what, the worker's just not quite there yet, and we really want to get some more support when we're out there in the battlefield. So we kind of upped the damage and stuff for the worker, made him a little bit more fun to play. He does a lot more damage against structures, and when he becomes the advanced worker, he gets a bomb and becomes the bomber, so you're construction and destruction. So he actually is like one of my favorite classes to play now, so it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Something about my personality, I always wanted to go around building something instead of killing people. But I mean, the warrior was pretty popular as well online. I saw
very popular. The mage class with his area of effect fire. A lot of people didn't know that when you get caught on fire, if you just jump in water, it puts it out, or if you do an ice blast, you can put out people as well. So there's a lot of different mix and match kind of depth and strategy in there that people started picking up later in the beta, which was cool.
That was one of the great things about the game that I found. Even in the beta, you kept finding out new things and different ways to play it. Is there going to be that sort of depth, you think, over a long time for players?
Definitely. I mean, there's even like the different mix and match with multiplayer. If you get a priest, a couple archers, and a warrior out there, you've got a little battalion running across the map. You can do some serious damage against those who just are going to do it on their own. If you find them out in the battlefield, they're toast.
And so let's go back to the PSP version again for a second. What are the challenges of bringing a game that's as visually impressive as Fat Princess on the PS3 to the handheld?
The biggest challenge has been just getting all of the great stuff that they've done, Titan Sun, with the AI. to make it feel smart and alive and reactive to what you're doing. So what we're having to do is complement that due to not having some of the extra shoulder buttons. So what we're going to do is use the D-pad and issue commands. So to help complement a lot of the squad-based stuff and the voice chat that you can do with the PS3, we'll do that with the D-pad face buttons.
And are you at the stage of being able to kind of test the game online as well and see how it's working?
Yes, right now we are, as far as between ourselves as well as with Sony and Titan, we do our own kind of little beta testing and going through on a weekly basis, seeing how things are and what we like, what works, what doesn't work.
We may continue the tradition, right? We could say that like every Tuesday we have a global play test internally. We call it Fat Tuesdays, and we did that for months and months, on the PS3 version. So maybe we'll continue that tradition with Fistful of Cake.
We've got a couple of questions from our audience. First one's from Joshua Bird. He says, anything for the PlayStation 2 because a lot of people still have one. He makes a good point.
Anything for PlayStation 2?
For the PlayStation 2, yeah.
In terms of Fat Princess? That's a really good question, man. I don't know. We'll take it back to the executives and see what we can do.
And so there's not much chance. Do you think it could jump over to the PS2?
I really don't know, but we'll definitely put it on the front burner and see what we can do.
We'll see. Will the story mode in the game, which you kind of hinted on before, will that be playable in co-op? Says Jonathan Sapien from El Paso.
It's single player only.
It's just single player.
Yeah, it's single player.
Do you have any indication of what sort of length you're looking at the moment?
It depends if someone wants to pony it. It's about like a 5 to 8 hour experience depending on how you play.
Right, okay.
There's one thing we should mention also, there's difficulty levels. So, depending on your level of difficulty for, easy, medium, hard.
People like it hard and some like it easy,
Yeah.
whatever. Go easy on you. We have different modes.
But it's broadly similar in terms of style to the multiplayer as well.
It really kind of helps you kind of hone the different classes and understand the maps better. But the longevity really lies in like the multiplayer experience. I mean, if you look at Matt over there, he's just hypnotized. He's been playing it for like over a year now. And you just get lost in the game. And we do it every week, and we still enjoy playing it. It's a blast.
So you're a bit of a pro of the game.
Yeah, I play every week with these guys as well. So we get all the new builds and basically look and play with them and compare what they've done and what we need to do to get to where they're at.
I just working at Sony and working on so many games. There's so many games out there that are very serious, heavy games, right? And that's great. But this game, no matter what, it always makes us laugh every single time we play it. And I think really few games can actually do that. And it just always makes us smile.
Things happen. You'll see like somebody like